So now there's an overlapping question between the traditional businesses and the fancy startup ecosystem.
Right.
Usually startups are perceived, when I say startup, it's usually I'm talking about funded, VC funded and all that startups.
Yeah.
A startup is perceived cool by at least by the young generation.
Yeah, that's true.
So now, but there is also an argument, startups raise money, even initially, even if it's not, after
Correct.
that, they raise money.
Yeah.
They fund themselves, they pay themselves, and they're not profitable for a few years now. Many
Yeah.
of them are not profitable.
Right.
On the other side, MSMEs are struggling. They are counting every paisa. But at the end of the day, they make profits. Otherwise, their families doesn't run. So, so a lot of people say MSMEs are the future, in the sense they are contributing to Indian economy more than the startups, because startups is funded, they're at loss. So, but has not the startups helped us? Now I can get a delivery in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I can book a Ola or a Uber in 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Right.
So have they helped public? They've helped a lot, but they're not profitable. On the other side, MSMEs have made profits. They are making profits. But how do you see this thin line, in the sense? What is your take on this argument?
Okay, great question. I'll tell you. I mean, how I look at it is there are multiple ways to look at it.
Yeah.
One way to look at it is that maybe you're looking at the picture only today.
Yes.
Okay. For example, there was a time during COVID, when Byju's was probably one of the most sought after startups.
Yes.
One of the most funded startups, one of the most highly valued startups.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We don't see it today.
Yes.
We don't see Byju's today, right? It has probably crashed. At one point of time, Byju's acquired Akash. Akash was a legacy classroom business, brick and mortar business, nothing online, right? So when Byju's eventually realized that I need to get into the offline space, it acquired Akash, right? What happened to Byju's today? Even after the best acquisitions, right? Nothing really moved. I'll give you one more example. Talk about PharmEasy, right? PharmEasy acquired Dr. Velumani's startup, Thyrocare. Right. It was a listed company, got acquired by a startup. Yes. What happened to PharmEasy? PharmEasy is not doing well today. Right. So just because a startup employs people, just because a startup probably is solving for a lot of things today, right, does not necessarily mean that it is sustainable. Right. So there are stages in a business. Right. First you build, then you sell, right? Then you scale, and then you sustain. So startups build, they sell, right, and then they scale, but will they sustain? That is the final question, right? Now when you talk about MSMEs, right, MSMEs build, MSMEs will also sell, they also scale, maybe slowly as compared to a startup. But the best part is they will sustain, because they are not burning that money.
Yes.
Right. That is the second way to look at it, that eventually the last step of sustainability is on the MSME side, right? I'm not taking a bet on any startup, right? I mean, like you mentioned today about the quick commerce, right? I don't know if quick commerce will be relevant or not, right? It may be relevant, right? Today the kirana stores are facing a lot of difficulty because of quick commerce.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So today it's relevant, right? But they are still not able to crack the code of profitability, right?
Yes,
so maybe if they do it, they will sustain. Right. And I'm very happy if they sustain. I don't have a problem with it. But the point is, today the sustainability is a question.
Yes.
At least in my opinion, right?
Yes.
So the sustainability has to be tested very slowly, and then we see whether whether there is a consolidation, they get acquired, they work, they don't work, whether they become like Byju's or they don't become like Byju's. Only time will tell. I can't really take a call on it, right? Now, when you talk about hiring people, right, I have a very different take to this, and I'll tell you. I mean, I think the last I read, it's close to 22 million people kind of being employed in the quick commerce and the delivery space, kind of like that, right? Where you see that, let us say, a lot of people who are probably, say, not that skilled, the semi-skilled or the underskilled labor, they are being employed by quick commerce or food delivery apps, and they are solving for this kind of problem. Now, I'll tell you something that I'll give you two scenarios, right? The first scenario is that you are somebody who can afford a delivery on Blinkit, and you can afford a delivery on Zepto, right? You can pay premium for it, right? A 50 rupees product, you will pay 75 rupees for it. Why? Because you have the money, and you will have somebody who is not so skilled come and deliver it to you.
Right.
That is one way of looking at it. And now I'll go back to the old fashioned way of doing it, right? when there was DMart, right? I mean, you could
Yes.
go to a DMart. If you don't want to go to a DMart, you could probably order online, and the DMart would have given it back to you, right? But you're not wasting the energy and the time and the career of a person who is unskilled in making goods deliver for you.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me, you look at it from a country perspective. What is better for India? Should India's youth, I don't know how many people, be it 22 million रहने दो, 2 लाख रहने दो, या कितना भी रहने दो, is India's youth going to probably grow, prosper? Is India going to grow and prosper if majority of the youth is probably focused on delivering goods to each other?
No.
Or are they going to focus when people take care of their own groceries, and this population which is now delivering goods focuses on education, focuses on upskilling?
But will they
right?
do?
Exactly. The reason they don't do is because these people are, because with the help of investors' money,
Right.
they are going to probably getting 20 to 25,000 a month. They are making enough money for themselves, right? I'm really happy that you make 20, 25,000 a month. I'm
Yes.
really happy that your standard of living is increased.
Yes.
But the point is that there is lack of awareness that if there are some courses, if there is some upskilling that you can maybe take out, say 5,000 from in a month, maybe save a little money, right? Or maybe these startups start some initiative where they focus on their education of this underprivileged class,
Right.
and then maybe they have some better way. Maybe they become developers, maybe they become financial consultants, maybe they
We
take
don't
up a
know.
career,
Yeah.
maybe they become video editors, maybe they become good at digital marketing. Right?
Yes.
There are multiple careers coming up today. I
Yes.
think these are the services which India can export, and these are the services which really add value, and these are the services which increase their standard of living. Right? But I don't think that that class is interested in upskilling themselves.
Right.
Why? Because they're happy with the kind of
Yes,
money that
yes,
they're making.
yes.
And the second is, even these startups don't really care.
Right.
And trust me, if I upskill them, why will they work for me?
Yes, yes,
Right?
makes sense.
So,
yes.
so I think, I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm really happy that things get delivered on time.
Yes.
But I think I'd be really happier if I'm okay with going back to a DMart. I'm okay with going back to a Kirana store and getting my stuff. I call them, they give it to me.
Yes.
Right? And I'm okay with becoming a better planner. But I'll be really happy if these people have more access to education.
Yeah.
They have the hunger to learn and probably become, a little more skilled.
Yes.
Sell those services where the lifestyle can improve, and they're not making the rest of the India spoil themselves and take care of the laziness and liberty.